I'm Brian Forsyth, and in this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to rotate objects without actually keyframing the rotation. This was a real game changer for me when I discovered it, because the classic method of rotation kind of leaves a lot to be desired. It's also performance taxing. So just to cover that real quick, the traditional way to do it is to keyframe and then rotate your object. Go to the next keyframe. Rotate your object, say 360 degrees for a full turn, and then when you play back, boom, your object is rotating. But there's a lot of technicalities about it, and getting it to like smoothly rotate is oftentimes a bit of a struggle. So the more elegant way to do this is to use the Time Effector. And the way we do that is we create an object. Let's use a torus as an example. And I'm really a fan of the upright torus. And what we want to do is put this into a container, and that would be, say, the fracture object. Works pretty well for this. And then we want to add a time effector. So again, under MoGraph, we go to time, and we want to assign the time to the fracture and the torus to the time. And then it becomes pretty straightforward. A little bit confusing at first, but it starts to make sense as you work with this. So you have your parameter tab here, and what you want to do is you want to set this to effector. And also, let me back up here a step and say that always check your effectors of your MoGraph object and make sure that your effector is assigned. So I'm assigning the time effector here. Now going back into the time effector, I can tell you that I'm going to set the rotation here to 360 degrees. And at this point, I can press play, and it's perfectly spinning and not using any keyframes. So this is rotation completely independent of a performance tax. I think there's still a bit of a tax, but nothing like keyframing. So that's neat. But let's take this to the next level. Let's add in a cloner and set it to radial. Oops, sorry, radial is what I want. And then we will rotate this 90 degrees. There we go. All right, so let me space these guys out a bit. What if we wanted this whole thing to rotate? Well, it does, but it's kind of psychedelic right now. So let's take care of that problem. And the way we do that is we adjust the speed. And the speed in this case can be found under your effector tab, and it will be your strength. So let's hit play. Oh my God, it's way too fast. And boom, and we can slow it down and slow it down and slow it down. And that's nice. So right there. But let's say you wanted each individual ring to spin in addition to the overall rotation of the rings. So you can do that. And the way to do that is to go here to your deformer, and you want to deform the object. In other words, the torus. And there we go. It is now on the same rotation, but assigned to each object. So that, in a nutshell, is how you can do rotation without ever touching keyframing. And it's really handy if you want like a bunch of objects just spinning in your scene. This is a great way to do it. So thank you for tuning in.